My first ride was in the capital city of Brittany, Rennes, and is well known for its bike-friendly infrastructure, making it an ideal spot to explore both the city centre and the surrounding areas. Rennes is situated to the east of Brittany and is famous for its half-timbered medieval buildings and bustling squares. Coming into the city centre is the Canal Rance, which will take you up to Dinant and Saint-Malo to the north, and down through Redon and Nivelac in the south. The 240-kilometre route is often used by cyclists to traverse the eastern side of Brittany on a coast-to-coast cycling tour. On today's ride, I enjoyed approximately 10 kilometres of the route on well-maintained gravelled surfaces. While staying in Rennes, I used the 3-star Camping de Goyal, which is situated in a lovely wooded area some 7 kilometres from the city centre. Nestled on the edge of the Atlantic coastline in southern Brittany, Arzon and the stunning Gulf of Morbihan are a must-stop visit on any Brittany visit. I spent a couple of days here exploring the area, both walking Clint and riding a gravel loop to Suscinio Castle. The enchanting Gulf of Morbihan is one of Brittany's most iconic destinations, with, as legend suggests, as many islands as there are days in the year. Arzon, the gateway to the Gulf of Morbihan, and where I base myself, is a bustling town with a vibrant harbour port where you can eat at the many restaurants and soak up the atmosphere while listening to street music. The ride itself mostly followed well signposted gravel roads and quieter country lanes, and took me on a loop to the Suscinio Castle. The castle, built for the Duke of Brittany, is a magnificent medieval fortress that transports you back to the 13th century. Its impressive structure is surrounded by lush marshlands, making it as scenic as it is historic. Its towering walls, battlements and grand moat exude medieval charm. Today visitors can explore its fascinating exhibits, walk its ramparts and marvel at the breathtaking views of the surrounding natural reserve. This ride from Plogoff, on the far west of Brittany, hugged the coastline until the town of Audierne and the banks of the river Goyen, before heading north and then west again to the Baie de Trépassés. The ride passed through typical villages and small seaside towns. My first stop after 15 kilometres was the bustling harbour town of Audierne, apparently well known for its seafood restaurants and bars, and the river Goyen that flows gently through the town and out to the Atlantic Ocean via the Audierne Bay. After a brief stop, I headed north and then west again towards the Baie de Trépassés, a breathtaking bay known as the Bay of the Dead. It's said to be a resting place for shipwrecked sailors, but today its golden sands and crystal clear waters make it a favourite spot for surfers and beachgoers. On passing through the bay, I climbed back up, checking the views behind me to return to Plogoff some 7 kilometres away. Menez Hom at 330 metres and the last peak before the Atlantic Ocean is one of the highest points in Brittany, offering incredible views of the Crozon Peninsula and even the Atlantic on a clear day. This place has been significant for centuries. It was once a sacred site for Druids and later a strategic lookout during World War II. Having spent the night at the summit in the camping car, I set off on the 7-kilometre descent down the winding road towards Pont, passing through the town centre and then onto the beach. Pont itself is stunning. Its vast sandy beaches stretches for miles, and as well as the beach is well known for its megaliths. its thousands of year old standing stones. Cycling along the bay before turning inland to Plogoff was pure joy. Historically, the shores have been vital to local communities, providing fishing, seaweed farming and even salt harvesting. The climb back up to Menez Hom was a challenge, not an Alpe d'Huez style challenge, but still a challenge at an average of between 4 and 5% over 3.5 kilometres. During World War II, Menez Hom served as a strategic point for German forces who used it as a radar station. Now it's a place of peace, attracting hikers, paragliders, tourists and of course cyclists. My fifth ride was based out of the northern Brittany port of Roscoff. This charming port town instantly transported me into the world of maritime history. Known as a major hub for Brittany's onion farmers, the famous Onion Johnnies, Roscoff has been exporting its pink onions across the channel since the 19th century. The town's granite buildings and bustling harbour are full of character. In the early evening I left Roscoff. I set off inland towards Plogoff. The ride took me through quiet lanes lined with apple orchards. Brittany is cider country after all, and you can almost taste the heritage in the air. Plogoff itself is a picturesque village where I passed a stunning 16th century parish church, one of many dotted around the region. Turning back towards the coast, I headed to Saint-Paul-de-Léon, once again known for its cathedral, before dropping back down into the bustling port of Roscoff. Interestingly, Roscoff was the landing point for Mary Stuart, Queen of Scots, when she arrived in France as a child in 1548. To finish, I cycled from the port along the bay with views of the Ile de Bat, just as the sun started to set. A lovely finish to the 40-kilometre ride. Starting along the Pont beach and promenade, I was immediately struck, despite the holiday traffic, by the sheer tranquility of this coastal stretch. The massive bay is a real gem, with its wide sandy shoreline and calm waters reflecting the late afternoon light. Historically, this area has been shaped by fishing and maritime trade such as salt making, with locals relying on the tides for centuries. Today, its income comes from tourism. At Saint-Michel-en-Grève, a quaint village sitting at the northern edge of the beach, I turned inland and climbed up for a 12-kilometre loop back to the town. The loop was a delight, quiet roads and dry gravel trails meandering through lush farmland and small hamlets that felt untouched by time. Reaching the top felt like a reward in itself. The combination of road and gravel made it a lovely experience, blending smooth speed with a touch of rugged exploration. Cycling back down, I couldn't help but enjoy the descent in the late afternoon sun with its perfect mix of scenery and history. For the last part of the ride, I returned back to the bay before heading back to my base for the night at Camping de la Corniche. My final ride in Brittany, and probably the hottest, was the Cap Fréhel loop of 31 kilometres that hugged the coastline in and around the town of Frehel. Cap Fréhel is one of the most breathtaking spots in Brittany's northern coastline, and cycling here was an unforgettable experience. The cliffs, rising dramatically over 70 metres above the sea, offer views that stretch as far as the Channel Islands on a clear day. The area is a protected natural reserve, home to seabirds like puffins and razorbills that nest along the jagged rock faces. The highlight of the ride was reaching the iconic Cap Fréhel lighthouse. This impressive structure dates back to 1950, when it was rebuilt after being destroyed during the Second World War. The surrounding cliffs have been a crucial landmark for centuries, guiding both fishing fleets and merchant ships, and standing there I couldn't help but imagine the lives of sailors who relied on its beam to navigate these treacherous waters. After 13 kilometres I dropped down to Port Neuer via a single track gravel path. Port Neuer, a sleepy port, sits on the mouth of the river Famur. My final ride in Brittany was a reminder of the quiet beauty and rich history that Brittany's lesser known corners have to offer, but also how its history has changed over the years to embrace tourism. Cycling here, however briefly, was a joy and well worth a visit. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a comment below. Thanks for watching, and until the next time, keep cycling. Bloody hell, that's heavy! Ow, fingers.